Can anyone give me the feedback? Am I audible? Yeah. I just want to make sure that my voice is clear. Okay.
On behalf of CodeLab CRCE, we are delighted that all of you could join us for the session on how to plan for startup, ethical and legal step. Successful startup requires strong entrepreneurial skills and a breakthrough idea that compiles with the laws and ethics defined by the system. We welcome Professor Swati Ringe, our esteemed college faculty and the President of Institute Innovation Council of CRCE. Professor Swati Ringe is a NAAC coordinator and NBA faculty committee member. She is also part of B Project Expert Panel. We are delighted to have her here, and we would all certainly get a great idea on how to plan for startups. I request Professor Swati Ringe to begin the session.
Thank you, Akash, for this introduction. Okay. I hope the slides are visible to you. Okay. So I'm working in the Department of Computer Engineering, and I'm here today to speak on the topic that is how to plan for startups and what are the legal and ethical steps that you need to take into consideration when you're planning for the startup. Okay, so I am working actively for IIC and NISP coordinator. NISP is the National Innovation Startup Policy, and we have joined the campaign of Ministry of Education Innovation Cell in this NISP campaign, and we are saying that we are committed to create an environment and awareness about entrepreneurship, innovation, and startups within the organization. So there is a series of lectures that we are organizing initially, and we have plans to help the students who come up with their good ideas, to nurture their ideas, and to come up with the startups. So that's why this particular topic is there today. So these are the contents. I'm going to speak something about startups. What is a startup mean by, and India's progress in the field of startups. After that, I will speak on Startup India initiative launched by Government of India. What is it? What are the three pillars of Startup India initiative? And then I'll speak something about idea competition, which is organized every year in the college as well as at the national level. So that is also one way to show your innovation to the outside people. And then I'll be speaking on startup ecosystem. Ecosystem is a system where there are group of people who are come together, and they are there to help you when you want to nurture your startup and when you want to get settled down. Then I'll be speaking why legal and ethical aspects are required, why this knowledge is needed when we are planning for the startup, and then few successful stories. Okay, so let us start with the session. In 2008, this startup concept got evolved, but it is not a new term. It is invented in 1984 only. Our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, she decided to bring computers in India in 1984, and revolution started in 1988. In 1991, they came up with the scheme of liberalization of computers, and even foreign direct investments were allowed. Year 2000 was approaching, and the foreign clients, they were facing some problems because of the change in the last two digits of the year, because the year was stored in the software as last two digits, only 00 used to get stored. So all their calculations were getting reflected, and they wanted to give these projects for someone to solve this problem. And that resulted in the revolution in the software exports. We started seeing companies doing business in the software development, and we got many clients, and revolution happened after 1988. But there was some recession in 2008, and because of that, IT companies fired their employees. Even there were problems in the visa renewal for people who were working outside the country. So they came back. Many people came back, returned India. They were in search of the job, or they wanted to start their own business. So government decided to help them, and the concept of startup started growing. And government simplified all the processes to these people to start their own business in the form of digitalization of doing something, or the concept of startup got evolved. And that was the era where the companies like Policy Bazaar, Zomato, Flipkart, they came into limelight, and still we see that all these companies are doing really well in the market. Uh, but the real boost happened when Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he announced about Startup India initiative in his speech on 15th August 2015. So the government, Ministry of Trade and Commerce, they have taken up this job, and Startup India initiative is launched in January 2016. We can see that there is a website of Startup India initiative, and there are so many features which are there in um, this website. In this initiative, they published a policy to provide the legal framework for startups, and the startup became one more segment in the nation's economy. Because when you are creating your own startup, you need to establish connections with the manufacturers, vendors. You have to employ people, and you are creating the employment, and that's why it is becoming important segment in the nation's economy. So here the aim is to build a robust startup ecosystem where people are connected with each other in order to do the business, and we are trying to transform India into the country of job creators instead of job seekers. Even the government is going to release the funds about 10,000 rupees, crore rupees, by the end of the year 2025. They have the budget to fund the teams who are coming up with good idea and innovation, and they are ready to fund. So here on the screen to the left hand side, you are looking at a image. This image is an image of unicorn. Okay, it is called as a unicorn. Unicorn is a term related to startups. Unicorn means the startups which are having their valuation over $1 billion. So every year some survey is done, and they announce some of the unicorns. In 2020, you can see here in the figure, some unicorns were announced from India: Nika, Zerodha, then Unacademy, Razor Prey, Cars 24. All such unicorns are the startups. Their valuation is above $1 billion, um, uh, and this is about 2020. In 2021, again, the some unicorns are announced, which are Misho is becoming famous, Grade, Farm ShareChat, the digital insurance. These are the unicorns in 2021. Here we can see that there is one unicorn called as Gupshup. That is a 10th unicorn, 10th in the list. It is a 10th startup in the unicorn club in the year 2021. This Gupshup is a conversation exchange platform, and what is special about this startup is that this startup is emerged from the academic institute like IIT Mumbai, and this startup is nurtured in the incubator center of IIT Mumbai. And they started in 2004, and they have raised their funds only once in 2011, and even that was about 250 million rupees. um, what is special about this Gupshup is that now it is 1 billion, over 1 billion valuation is there for the company. And what is special is that this company has sustained and survived for so long. It is established in 2004. It is from an academic institute like IIT Mumbai. It is nurtured in the incubation center of IIT Mumbai. Incubation center is a center where if we enroll as a startup to the incubation center, we get all kind of support. We get the trainings, mentors, funding support, and they will connect you with multiple peoples like vendors, manufacturers, suppliers, customers. So it is a group of people, who are there in the incubator. They are going to nurture the startup, and then once the startup is ready to survive on their own, it can independently start working on their own. So this is a startup. Gupshup is a startup by an academic institute. It's sustained and survived for so long. It is incubated in the incubation center of IIT Mumbai called as Sign. So these are the characteristics of Gupshup. So nowadays, when anyone is looking for a startup, they are looking for sustainability and their survival. They are not just trying to make something which is going to give the profit for some time, or they are looking for the survival, long term survival for the startup. And for long term survival of the startup, it is must that the team and everyone need to know about some legal and ethical aspects. So that's why this particular topic is becoming very important to know when you have some plans to come up with your own product and a startup. Here, NASCOM has done some analysis, and in the year 2018, they listed that there are total 18 unicorns in India, and some of the unicorns are Udan, Oyo, Zomato, Swiggy, Paytm, Policy Bazaar, Byju's, and they are still working so well. In 2021, this number is increased from 18 to 27. India is having 27 unicorns in the year 2021, and the analysis is done on various parameters. So the number is increased, but compared to US and China, we are having very less number of unicorn. Still, India continues to be the third largest startup ecosystem in the world today, and there are around 50,000 startups in India, out of which around 300 startups are given even the income tax exemption. So there are many facilities provided by government. Annual growth rate is about 12 to 15% in this location, in this field, and around $26.5 billion fund is raised by unicorns in the year 2018. So in 2021, it will be greater than this. So it is expected that with this awareness, by the year 2025, this number will touch to 100 unicorns. We will be having 100 unicorns, and they are having the analysis that uh, from 160 to 70 may get the funds from foreign companies also. So in order to support this central government Startup India initiative, the states also have come up with their own startup policy. And what is the use of that is that we can even tap the state government, and we can get avail the funds or any kind of support that we want for doing our startup. So we can say that we are in the golden era because lots of funds are allocated, and they're going to release the funds if your idea is too good. But your idea should be innovative, and you need to have some customer who is going to use your product or use your process, and then it will be successful. So we can say that startup is going to be there in the next decade. It is going to be there. And what happens is that really in the real world, when we meet the alumni, what happens is that you are very enthusiastic, and you are trying for your dream job. You work for your company, and after maybe after 5-10 years, you start feeling that oh, I should have created my own company. I could have done all these things, and why I wasted. I should have started in the college. So it is a good starting point that you start thinking in the college 4 years. And even if whatever is your dream, you want to do the higher placements, or you want to go for dream placements, or you want to go for higher studies, whatever is your dream, but at least you should get an experience of creating your product and coming up with your startup in the 4 years of your journey in the college, so that when you look back, you can proudly say that in the college I tried to build some product, and it was there in the market. Even you can hand over if you want to do something else, but you need to get the experience. In this 4 years, there is lots of time and lots of energy is there with the students, so they can do wonders in their 4 years of journey. Okay, so what is the startup? Startup is a group of people like you, who are interested in doing some innovation. They This group of people, they are called as startup founders. They come together. They are empathetic. They are looking here and there in the society, and they're identifying some critical pain points of someone in the society. They identify some problem and they are so empathetic, or they are so passionate about it, that they understand this is the real problem in the society, and I want to solve this problem, I want to bring the solution to the problem. So all these people are passionate to solve this problem, so they apply their creativity, and they come up with good ideas, and the ideas are implemented in the form of innovation. So, what is innovation? The idea that is generating some value, uh, that is called as innovation. Idea that is generating, idea once implemented, that is generating some value is called as innovation. And value means what? In what terms? The value is the economic value, or it can be a societal value. Economic value means it is going to generate some money out of it, or it is useful to someone in the society. So you are doing some kind of social work for some disabled people, or for the earth planet, or for some society, to someone you are doing something which is good for them. Okay, so we can say that idea implemented in the form of innovation, and that is creating some value to someone in the society, is called as innovation. So startup is a company, you alone you cannot register your company as a startup. At least two people are required. But it is not a company maybe more than 80 employees. Its revenue is less than some limit, like $20 million. You can have a single office or single cubicle where you can start your startup, and there is a rigorous culture of innovation within the startup organization, and it should be able to scale quickly. Okay, if it is successful and if you get the funds, the startup should have the ability to scale itself quickly without delay, and it should make its presence inside the nation as well as across internationally. It should be able to scale itself. In short, we can say that here the innovation is the core of startup, or the heart of the startup. And being innovative, if you want to come up with the innovation, you need to have a creative mindset. And being creative is is a requirement for creating good ideas. Okay, so creativity is something that you can nurture. And what happens is that when we are in the college, when we are in the college, and when we are studying as an engineer, we are concentrating on mathematics and science. And when we are concentrating and studying continuously mathematics, numbers, facts, we are doing analysis, and we are focusing on some analysis or numbers. And then what happens is that our left side of the brain becomes active, and it is more active compared to the right hand side of the brain. And we are applying the side of the brain, and we are studying, learning technology, and doing something. And our right side of the brain is not that utilized. Right side of the brain is for creativity, passion, love, feelings, or getting some ideas. And it is colorful. And uh, if we want to be successful, we have to make use of both the sides of brains. Even if you are going to become CEO of any company, or if you want to become a strategic manager, where you have to think ahead, and you have to use some ideas to grow and to apply for your company to which you are working. So these fundamentals are working for all the people who are doing their jobs, or who are trying to build their own company. So this is applicable to everyone. So these people have to think ahead, and they have to be creative. They have to take some strategic decisions, and they need to use their creativity. So what is a good thing about creativity is that creativity can be nurtured, and you can explore some activities, and you can start doing that activities to improve your creativity and improve the right side of the brain. And whenever you are working on anything now, we have to make use of both the sides of brain equally, so that so that you are empathetic to the employers, you are understanding how to handle the work, how to give or allocate the work to different people, how to be empathetic to the customer to which you are going to serve, and you are creating the product, or you are going to create your service. So being empathetic to the customer is very important. Like I can give you one example. In IIT Mumbai, there was a project, and came up with the product which is a stick for the blind people. And when the blind people are crossing the roads, they are using the stick, and it is useful to them. So here this product is creating a societal value, that their stick is, they are not selling the stick for making profit. It is created, and it is an intelligent smart stick, which has some artificial intelligence or sensors added in that stick. And being empathetic, there was a demand from the customers that some female blind people, they wanted to have their stick with different color, and they wanted wanted it to fold it in four folds, so that they can keep it in their purse, or they don't want other people to understand that they are the blind people. Okay, so all these things are taken into consideration, and then happily the customers use their product. Okay, so being empathetic is the requirement when you plan for your startup. You have to be empathetic. You have to solve and understand the customer, and consider each and every complaint or each and every suggestion of the customer should be taken into account. And that's why people are doing so much of sentiment analysis for different products. So here innovation is the core of startup, and we can say that you have to be creative, and creativity can be nurtured. Make a habit of getting up early, doing some meditation, exercise, happy state of mind, or solving some puzzles. And if you Google, you will find so many ways to improve the creativity. So it should be there in your lifestyle, so that you will start using both the sides of brain, and you will come up with multiple ideas to solve any problem in the society which is useful to someone. Initially, when people used to do the business, they used to establish the business, and then they used to bring the technology to do their marketing, or to maintain their supply chain management system, or to do the customer relationship management. But nowadays, technology is expanding. People are using the mobiles, or they are near to the technology. So we cannot escape technology also. When we are planning for the startup, that time you have to bring technology while designing or building your product. So you can now build a smart devices, or you can have the services or products accessible via mobile phones or computers. So like this, you have to bring technology while you plan in the beginning only. So we can say that a startup, here the group of people are trying to solve the problem which is not addressed before. It is something new that they have identified, or they are providing efficient solution to the existing problem. And we can say that, so in short, we can say that they are developing a new product or service, or they are redeveloping that product with something new, and someone is getting benefited because of that. So we say that we have identified the customers in advance. There are people who are ready to use your product. You have done some survey, you have spoken to multiple peoples, and you have done the feasibility study, market survey, and you are sure that there is a need of this problem to get solved, and there are people who are ready to buy your product. Okay, so you need to be sure about it. And it cannot be a company of one person, at least two people are needed, and it can be registered as a private limited company, or some other options are also there. And it should be able to scale itself. So these are the features. Here we are not trying to solve only the problem, we are trying to make the life easy for someone in the society. We are improving digitalization, and it's not about creating a company of 200 people. If your dream is to become an owner of a company with 200 people, it cannot be called as a startup. It may be a business, but it cannot be called as a startup. Here it is all about bringing some change in the society, or bringing change in the existing system, doing something which is easy to use, and it is helping someone. So it is not about making money. If your sole aim is to make the money, it will not happen. Here the team of people are passionate about the idea, they are convinced, and they just anyhow they want to build the product, because they know the importance of it, and they have the risk taking capability. They are ready to implement the idea, which will be converted into the value. So money is a byproduct. Money is a byproduct. You are passionate to solve your problem, and you're not looking for the fruits. Here your idea itself is a wealth, or idea is a product. With implementation of idea, automatically the money is going to come. Okay, so and the team is ready to enhance their entrepreneurship and marketing skills, because initially they are technocrats and they are very good in technology. So they should be able to enhance some of their skills of presentations, entrepreneurship, marketing skills. That is also required when you become a manager, and it will have its then it will have its global presence also. So we are going towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, and Startup India initiative is helping Make in India initiative by making in India, making everything in India. Okay, so here the government came up with this scheme, that is Startup India initiative. There are three pillars that are helping the startups, and if you build a startup on the top of these three pillars, it will be easy for you to create your startup. So what is the first pillar? That is the simplification and hand holding. So they have made everything simplified. Creating a startup is a very simple process. You can just give the application within 8 or 10 days or 15 days. Your startup will be will be granted. So initially, what was happening is that before 2008, that if you want to build your company, you have to give the application used to go to multiple departments of ministry. Each and every department used to check that whether all the rules and compliances are followed by you, and then they used to grant it. By the time so much of time is gone, and you may be like started doing something else. So now it is not like that. If you have made up your mind, within 8 to 15 days you can register your company as a startup, and everything is simplified. You just have to submit your application, and you will be it will not go to multiple departments. And the government launched the Startup India portal, which is also a mobile app available on the mobile. And if you visit here, you can see so many services are there. Lots of information, training material, information about events, information about manufacturer, vendors, mentors, government bodies, investors. Everything is there, and you. So it is an online platform for all the stakeholders of the startup ecosystem. Stakeholder means like for our college, who are the stakeholders? The teachers, students, alumni, parents, management. All these are the stakeholders for an institute like a college. For a startup, stakeholders are vendors, manufacturers, investors, government bodies, mentors. So all these are the stakeholders, and you have to collaborate with them. So it is an online platform where all the stakeholders are there, and you can easily establish the connection. Even the mentoring facilities there, legal support is can be made available to you, and they will advise you how to further grow. Even the fast tracking of patent is there nowadays. If you are using any kind of invention in your startup, then your invention should be patented, so that anyone else cannot use your invention. And if he wants to use your invention, he has to come and he has to pay, or you will have to do some agreement with that person. So your invention should be you have to file the patent for that, so that you can use it and no one can you can claim for it. Or even you can get the license for the trademark or logos for your startup. And that process is done on the fast track at lower cost. uh, Even they have created the facility to form the insolvency and bankruptcy board, that is going to examine. If you want if you feel that your startup is not working well, then you can submit your information to them. And faster and easy exit is also there for the startup, so you can easily shut down your startup if you feel like that. The second pillar is about funding, support, and incentives. As I said, $10,000 billion are already allocated, and they are made available to the startup teams as a fund of funds. That means that the government has allowed many institutes to form their incubation centers or research parks or tinkering labs, and they have parked their money inside the incubation centers. And when you get attached to the incubation centers with your product, then you may get the funds via such uh, different parks where the money is kept by the government. For the startups, even you can apply for tax exemption, and for the first 10 years of your journey, it is called as a startup. After that, it will not be treated like a startup. But in the first 10 years, you can select any 3 years. For that 3 years, a tax exemption will be there for your startup. Even they abolished the angel tax. There are some angel investors. So these investors are ready to invest in the startups and for innovations. So these angel investors used to pay some angel tax. Nowadays, that tax is not there for these angel investors. These investors are not, they have lots of money. They don't want to keep their money in banks. Even they don't want to keep their money in any different investments. They are keen to invest their money in the startups because it is going to give them returns if the startup is successful. So for these people, to encourage them, even the tax is removed, and so they are happily they are ready to invest in the startup. And I know that after reading so much of material, I know that there are so many investors who are ready to give their money, but they want to see the idea should be passion, idea should be a very good idea. The third pillar is about industry academic partnership and incubation. The government came up with Atal Innovation Mission, and they launched this adult tinkering labs or research parks or research innovative centers, academic institutions, and even the guidance of expert from private sector or industry is also there, because they are also attached to these incubation centers, and the startup teams are uh, guided by these experts from industry. uh, in the form of tinkering labs, the startup teams can be trained, or they can learn or develop some technologies or new trends uh, in Internet of Things or industrial, uh, uh, intelligent industrial, or robotics or 3D printers. In such new upcoming fields, the trainings are also available. Okay, so these are the three pillars. Now, as an academic institute, what we are committed, or what we are saying is that what we can contribute is that we are creating the atmosphere within the institute, and we are trying to create the awareness about the startup entrepreneurship innovation. And here we are trying to form the students groups, and the students can go and we can arrange the field trips for them. They can identify their problems, and then ideation workshops can be organized where they come up with multiple ideas. Then we organize the trainings for design thinking. They ask them to create the proof of concept, that is POC. And then even the trainings about patent filing is also done, prototype development training sessions are done. So we are thinking that the student teams should come up with ideas in the 4 years of journey in the college. From second year onwards, you're doing so many mini projects, and what happens is that you take a random topic and you just experiment and then you just leave it. But instead of that, if you take an innovative idea, and if you work on that innovative idea on which no one has worked before, then you can really come up with the products in your 4 years of journey. And if we find such teams who are working very hard for developing their idea and coming up with innovation, all different kinds of support or guidance will be provided to the students in their academics in the 4 years. So what you can do here in the college is that come up with ideas, prepare your proof of concept, means just a small implementation to check that where this idea is implementable. Then we train you about, or we will make you aware about IPR. So all these type of sessions are currently getting organized within the college by IIC. And then they come up with the prototype. uh, then we shortlist the teams, and we organize the idea competition in the college, and we shortlist the teams. The shortlisted team get the opportunity to participate in the national level idea competition. Okay, so it is a very good opportunity that in your resume also the biggest competition in the India, that is national level competition, and it is conducted by Ministry of Education Innovation Cell. So it is going to have a very good weightage if you are participating in the competition. And so we are trying to organize this lecture series and guidance to prepare you for participating in this national level idea competition. So this is also one journey